Hi everyone and welcome to week 9 of Stretch and Mobility Yoga. So this session and the next two sessions will be focusing mainly on full body stretching and movement. So whether you've been doing the 3-week Healthy Habits Challenge or whether this is your first time to this week just to come and move your body and have a bit of time to yourself, then hopefully you should feel good after these classes. So as always, I'm going to offer modifications for different poses. Just see how your energy levels feel, see how your body feels. It might feel very different this week to it did last week. So just go easy and just see what feels appropriate for you. So we're going to start seated, and whether that's sitting cross-legged or on your knees. You could also sit on a chair if that feels better for you. So we're just going to start by breathing deeply in and out through the nose, just a few rounds, just to settle ourselves and just check in and see how we're feeling. So sitting up nice and tall, inhaling deeply through the nose, maybe closing the eyes, and exhaling, sigh out of the mouth. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling, sigh out. One more time, inhale, and exhaling, sigh out. And then softly blinking open the eyes. Just take a moment to notice how you feel. Hopefully you feel good. So we're going to start by moving through the shoulder joints. So just bringing the hands to rest on top of the shoulders and just going to circle the elbows, inhaling deeply as they come up and round, exhaling as they come down behind you and then forwards, inhaling up and exhaling down. Inhale and exhaling. A couple more. And change direction. So inhaling up, exhaling as the elbows come together in front of you. And one more time. Good, and then just rest the hands down on the knees, just shrugging the shoulders a couple of times, just sort of giving them a little wiggle. And then coming through to the hips. So just bring the hands behind you. You will need to sit on the floor for this. So having the feet about hip width apart, maybe slightly wider. And then you're just going to start to roll the knees from side to side. And as you're rolling, you're creating a 90-degree angle with the thigh and the shin bone. Also flexing the feet. So just keep rolling from side to side. If this feels fine and you want a little bit of a challenge, you can maybe sort of lift the hands up and just see if you can move without the hands on the floor. So just bring the hands back. And then we're just going to take it into a twist. So as your knees come over to the right, you bring the left hand up and over. So the hands are now underneath the shoulders. I'm just looking over your right shoulder. And then just moving over to the side. So you might be able to lift the hands up as you come over, looking over the left. And then over to the right. And then just moving from side to side in your own time. And then coming back to centre, scooching back into your spot because I've moved. And then we're going to start to do some spinal rolls. So just catching hold of the underside of the thighs and then just really rounding the back, drawing the chin into the chest, start to roll along the length of the spine. So this hopefully should feel quite nice little back massage. Just letting the feet come up over the head to give you the momentum to come back up again. There's another little challenge. You could try not bringing the toes to the floor when you come up, so you have a little hover moment. And then we're going to roll all the way up and come round onto the hands and knees. I'm just coming back into child's pose, so Knees are about hip width apart. You can always take them a bit wider, toes touching, heels touching, and just stretch back the sit bones towards the heels, reaching the arms forward, letting the forehead drop down towards the floor. If your forehead doesn't come all the way down, you can always stack the hands in fists and just rest the forehead. So take a few nice deep breaths here. Just really stretching through the back, through the hips. And then coming up onto all fours. So having the hands shoulder width underneath you, fingertips gripping the floor, pressing the knuckles of the hands down into the floor as well. So toes can be tucked under at the back or tops of the feet flat to the floor, depending on how it feels for you. From here, you just inhale, let the chest drop, lift the chin, and then exhale, press the floor away, push the centre of the back up towards the ceiling, drawing the navel in, and then inhaling, coming through, and then exhaling, arching the back. So keep moving like this for a few breaths. One more. And then come back into child's pose, maybe bring the arms behind you this time, palms face up. Couple of breaths here. And then coming back up. We're just going to do a couple of wrist stretches. So if you've been doing lots of burpees, then this might feel good just to stretch out the wrists a bit. Lots of burpees or press-ups. So from here, having again the hands are directly underneath the shoulders, and we're just going to turn the left hand round so that the fingertips are now pointing back towards your knees, and then turning the right hand round as well and pressing the heels of the hands into the floor. So the closer your hands are to your knees, the less intense it is. Obviously walk the knees out for a bit more intensity, and then you can also start to circle into the hands, just transferring the weight, just getting all of the forearm, the wrist, and changing direction. And then come back to centre, just sit down onto the heels, just circle through the wrists. Try not to shake them out, because that will jar them a little bit. And then come back, and then slightly different stretch. So you're going to turn the hands upside down, so the back of the hands on the floor, palm facing up, fingertips pointing inwards now, and then other hand as well. So depending on how wide your shoulders are, you might have the middle fingers touching, or they might be a bit separated. Again, closer the knees are to the hands, the easier it is. And then just start to again to circle. So stretching out the other side. And change direction. Good. And then back to centre. Just sit back on the heels. Give the wrists a little bit of a circle one way and then the other. Good. So from here we're just going to come up into downward facing dog. So again, hands directly underneath the shoulders, maybe slightly ahead of them actually, and then index fingers are either pointing straight towards the top of the room or they're turning out slightly. So just see what feels better for your shoulders. Toes tuck under at the back, push back towards the heels, and then start to lift the knees up off the floor, coming up onto tiptoes, and then start to lower one at a time the heels towards the floor. So just pedaling out the feet, stretching through the backs of the legs. And then lowering both heels towards the floor. They might not come down all the way, doesn't matter. You can also bend the knees to get more of a back stretch. This is good if your hamstrings feel a bit tight. Okay, so now looking towards the top edge of the mat, if you're on a mat, or the top of your space, and just walking towards the hands, and then just catching hold of opposite elbows, coming into a gentle forward fold. Again, knees can be nice and soft, they don't have to be straight. Maybe just swaying through from side to side. And then releasing the hands. On your next inhale, bringing the hands to the knees or the thighs, extending the chest forward. And exhaling, fold. Inhaling, lifting up, halfway. Reach the chest forward, sit bones back, exhaling down. One more time, inhaling and exhaling. And then bring the hands to the waist, roll the shoulders back, elbows towards the ceiling as you slowly come all the way up to stand. Releasing the hands. So just spreading the toes into the floor, engaging the thighs, drawing up on the navel, back of the neck long. From here, bring the hands to the chest, palms together, and then inhale, reaching the arms up. And then exhaling, drawing the hands to the chest. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, hands to the chest. Inhaling up. And exhaling, hands to the chest. So coming into a lunge, so inhaling, lifting the arms up. And exhaling, folding all the way down. Inhaling up halfway. And then fingertips to the floor. You're going to step back with the left foot. So coming into a high lunge. So just keeping on fingertips to start with. Really pressing the ball of the foot into the floor. And then bringing the hands to rest on the knee. Slowly bringing yourself upright. And then reaching the arms up finally. You can always bend the back knee slightly just to tuck the pelvis under again, and then start to work on straightening. So you can do that a few times, just pulsing it out. Just holding here, maybe looking up at the hands, reaching up tall. And then exhaling, just bringing the hands down to the inside of the right foot. You might need to walk the foot out slightly. So you're coming into a lizard stretch. You can always drop the back knee. You might be able to come down onto the forearms. Just wherever you are, just hold that for a couple of breaths. And then coming back up onto the hands. And then just raising the right arm, coming into a twist. Again, the back knee can be down on the floor. And then bring the hands down. So just walking over to the other side now. So you're coming into a lunge. So back knee raised, on fingertips, looking forward. And then bringing the hands to the knees, slowly coming up. Reaching the arms. Maybe bending the back knee, tucking the pelvis under slightly. And then just work on bending and straightening the leg a few times. Maybe moving with your breath. Pausing here, reaching up tall, looking up towards the hands. And then slowly bringing the hands down to the inside of the left leg. Coming into a lizard stretch. So either staying up like this, or you could bring the knee down. Maybe coming down onto the elbows. And then coming back up again. So this time raising the left arm, opening the arm out, taking a stretch through the chest, and then bring the hand down, and then walking now to face the side. So you're in a wide leg stance. So from here, I'm just going to turn the right heel in, taking the right forearm to the inside of the right thigh, and just start to press them against each other. So just stretching through the inner thigh. And then taking it over to the other side. So left forearm to the inner thigh. And then other side. Maybe just moving from side to side. If you're able to come lower, you might be able to start to spider it out a little bit. And then back to centre. So maybe walking the feet in a little bit, toes turning out still, and just bringing the elbows to the inside of the thighs, sinking the hips. Again, just maybe swaying from side to side, just getting that inner thigh stretch. And then coming back to centre. So bring the fingertips to the floor, turning the toes to face forwards or slightly inwards, inhaling, lengthening through the spine, either staying here if this is enough for your hamstrings, or exhaling, folding down, maybe walking the hands back a little bit. You can also bend the knees or take the feet a little bit wider if this helps with the forward fold. Again, you can maybe sway the hips from side to side, just keep it nice and fluid. Shake out the head, and then bring the hands to the waist, bending the knees, slowly coming all the way up, and then heel toe the feet in towards each other. So coming into some standing balance stretches. So I've borrowed these from Sean T on T25, quite like them. So we're going to start by drawing the knees into the chest, one at a time. So really holding onto the core, drawing the navel in, and then holding here on one side. So standing up as tall as you can, drawing the right knee in towards you. You can also circle the ankle if you like, one way than the other. And then changing sides. And then release out. So coming into a quad stretch. So again, just drawing the ankle in towards you, catching hold of it. And then pausing on one side. So really tucking the pelvis under, pressing the hips forward, and then start to press the back ankle that you're holding into the hand. So pressing against each other, and then just releasing, just drawing the heel in towards your bottom. Also raise the left arm, and then releasing out. So changing sides, catching hold of the left leg, or whichever one you haven't done yet, and then start to really press the ankle or the foot into the hand. Keep pressing the hips forward, get that quad stretch, and then releasing, drawing the heel in towards you, be raising the top arm, and then releasing out. So final little standing balance stretch. So outer hip stretch, so just crossing an ankle over the right leg, maybe sitting down, bit, changing sides. So really try to find your balance. And then staying on this side, seeing if you can hold the stretch, really drawing the right knee out, pressing through the right heel. If you want to increase the stretch, if you're able to, you can catch hold of the heel with the left hand and bring the right fingertips down towards the floor. I love this stretch, this is one of my favourites. It really gets the outer hip for me. And then slowly coming back out, changing sides. So crossing the ankle over, bring the hands together, see if you can bend the right knee, sit back slightly into the hips, either stay here or catch hold of the foot, press the heel into the hand and then bring the left fingertips to the floor. Keep drawing the left knee out and then slowly coming back and release. Okay, coming to the top. So inhaling, reaching the arms up, exhaling, folding down, inhaling up, and then exhaling, stepping back, downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here. So ears in line with the biceps, pressing the floor away, squeezing the biceps towards each other. And then we're going to come into pigeon, but first of all we're going to raise the right leg, bending the right knee, so the heel in towards the buttocks, and then start to roll the right knee up towards the ceiling. And then coming back through forwards, taking the right knee to the back of the right wrist, leg crosses in front of the body, sinking the left knee down, walking the foot out behind you, pigeon stretch. So if this isn't good for your knee, then the alternative is to lie on your back, cross the ankle over and take a figure 4 stretch and thread the needle. So back into pigeon, and then either staying up on fingertips or you could come down onto the elbows, maybe resting the forehead down. A couple of breaths here. And then slowly coming up. So from here you're going to roll over on to the right hip and then make your way by bringing the left leg up and over to cross to the outside of the right knee. So again, if this isn't comfortable to sit like this, if you feel like you're wobbling over to one side, you can always extend the bottom leg out in front of you. So wherever you are, bring the right arm up, right fingertips behind you, inhale, sweeping the left arm up, and then just taking the elbow to the inner thigh or knee, just looking over your right shoulder. And then changing sides, so bring the left hand down, inhaling right arm up, crossing the elbow, or you can also wrap the arm around the front of the thigh, looking over the left shoulder. Good. So coming around to the other side, so let's come through like this. So back into downward facing dog. This time it's the left leg, so raising the left leg, drawing the heel in towards the left buttock, knee up towards the ceiling, opening up into the stretch. And then look forwards, taking the left knee to the back of the wrist. So left leg crossing over in front of you, diagonally, walking the back leg out behind you, or lying on your back and taking thread the needle. So making your way down into whichever version of pigeon feels most comfortable for you. Taking a few breaths, trying to relax the hips down. And then coming back up again. So rolling over onto the left hip now, and then seeing if you can bring the right leg up and over to cross to the outside of the left knee. So sole of the foot flat to the floor. Again, you can also extend the bottom leg out. So I'll show this variation on this side. So from here we're going to take the right hand behind you. We'll do a slightly more difficult twist to begin with. So reaching the left arm up and then either wrapping the arm around the front of the shin or taking the elbow to the outside of the knee. I'm just looking over the right shoulder. So you inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, maybe see if you can turn a little bit further, just not wringing yourself out though. And then changing sides, so bring the left hand behind you, inhale, reach the right arm up, and then take the elbow to the inner thigh or inner knee, sitting up tall. Exhaling, looking over the left shoulder. And then turning back to centre, unravelling, and then just going to bring the soles of the feet together in front of you. So just catching hold of the ankles and then just maybe circling one way and then the other. Good. And then just bring the elbows to the insides of the thighs, just start to draw the chest forward. So you're really trying to lengthen out of the hips. So I'll show from the side. So you're not sort of hunching up, rounding, you're trying to stay nice and long. So if you are starting to hunch up, just bring the hands behind you and just concentrate on lifting up out of the hips. Sometimes it helps to sit on a cushion or even just have something to elevate the feet, like even if you've got a cushion, something like that, that can feel a bit better. So wherever you are, just slowly coming up. And then just going to take the legs out nice and wide into a wide leg stretch. Again, hands behind you, just to really lengthen up out of the hips, pressing out through the heels, toes pointing up towards the ceiling. And then maybe just rolling or moving from side to side. You can also sort of take the hands off the floor. It's like you're sort of walking on each side of your bottom. And then gradually that might help you to start to come forward slightly and just fold over straight in front of you. You can also catch hold of the feet if that feels good, but again you're trying not to round the lower back. And then coming back up again. So just drawing the legs in, this time extending the legs out in front of you. Bring the hands behind you, inhaling, sitting up tall, and exhaling, just folding over. So you might not come very far at all. In fact, you might just be sitting up in a sort of L shape, and that might be enough just to start to feel a bit of a stretch in the back of the legs. So wherever you are, just slowing the breath, slowing the exhalation, and then coming back up. From here, bending the knees, soles of the feet to the floor, sitting up tall, and then we're just going to slowly roll all the way down onto our back. So using the core just to slow your descent, and then bring the arms up over the head, start to lift the hips up towards the ceiling, and then exhaling, bring the arms back over, lowering back down again. You might need to walk the feet in a little bit, and then we're just going to move with the breath, inhaling, lifting up, arms overhead, touching the floor, and exhaling, slowly lower all the way back down again. So repeat this a few times. One more time. Just holding here. Bringing the arms back up over the heads, keeping the hips high, maybe interlacing the hands underneath you, walking the shoulder blades towards each other. Taking a few breaths in bridge pose. And then releasing out. So just let the knees lock together, taking the feet wide. And then finishing off with a little spinal twist. So just drawing the knees in, taking the arms out wide, and roll the knees over to the right, looking out at the left hand, if that's okay for your neck. Maybe holding on to the top of the left knee with the right hand just to help draw it down. And then bring the knees up and over, maybe shifting them slightly to the right if they've moved. And then looking out to the right hand, if that feels okay. And then back to centre. Hugging them in. And then either resting on your back for a few minutes, or if it's time to come up, then bringing yourself back up to sit. Sitting tall, inhaling, reaching the arms up, fingers spread, and then exhaling, hands together, sigh out of the mouth, hands to the heart, close the eyes, bow the head. Namaste. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed that. Have a lovely rest of your week. Bye bye.